Hello, this is Talha Kemal Koçak. I'm a master's student in Gazi University, Department of Environmental Sciences. In this study, we systematically reviewed research articles that have reported on polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbon levels in surface waters, sediments, and aquatic organisms in Turkey. Polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons, PAHs in short, are hazardous chemicals that contain multiple benzene rings connected together in different structural configurations. They are resistant to degradation due to their lipophilic and hydrophobic features. PAHs also have negative health effects, including carcinogenic, teratogenic, and mutagenic. Moreover, they pose threat to ecosystems, causing tumors, metabolic dysfunctions, reproduction problems, and reductions in immunity in aquatic organisms. Although there are several PAH studies in Turkey, a systematic review that investigates PAHs nationwide was not conducted before to our knowledge. Such country-scale reviews can be very informative to decision makers and researchers. Therefore, this study aims to provide an updated and comprehensive overview of pH concentrations in Turkish aquatic media and evaluate the cancer and ecological risks associated with pH contamination in Turkish water bodies and identify gaps in current knowledge to guide future investigations. Methods. The protocol search, appraisal, synthesis, analysis, and report, aka PSALSAR methodology, provided the framework for the systematic review approach used here because of its comprehensiveness, transparency, and reproducibility. The first step in PSALSAR, the protocol scoping, involved defining the review search scope and specifying research questions that the systematic review would address. The research questions are briefly: 1. What is the concentration range of PAHs and their sources in Turkish waters? 2. What is the impact of pH contamination on public health in terms of carcinogenic potency? And 3. What is the risk level of pH contamination in aquatic ecology? The second step in PSALSAR, the search, involved defining and applying a literature search strategy. This included identifying appropriate databases and defining search strings to obtain relevant articles for appraisal and synthesis steps. In the appraisal step, the identified articles were evaluated against the study protocol scope in stages. These stages included reading the titles and abstract to select articles meeting the predefined inclusion criteria, also known as screening, as well as reading the full screened articles to identify additional articles. As a result, 39 studies included to review in this study. In the synthesizing step, the relevant information from the selected articles was extracted and categorized for further analysis, which brings us to the next step, analysis. The analysis step involved attempting to answer the review research questions through qualitative and quantitative analysis of the synthesized information. We analyzed concentration range of PAHs and their sources. Additionally, we evaluated potential cancer and ecological risks with additional calculations. In the final step of PSALSAR, we reported our findings in a peer-reviewed journal article called Marine Pollution Bulletin. Results and discussion. pH occurrence. pH concentrations found in the waters of Turkey were in the range of 61 and 250,000 nanogram per liter. The highest mean concentration was observed in Menderes River, and the lowest mean was seen in Pazarsuyu stream. The concentrations of PAHs in sediments showed a wide variation, ranging from 1 to 210,000 nanogram per gram. According to a commonly used categorization scheme, the level of pH pollution in the sediments of Marmara Sea varied from low to very high. Concentrations in Izmit Bay, along with Tuzla and Istanbul Strait, were very high. The pollution in the Marmara Sea has been attributed to the highly populated cities around the sea, dense ship traffic as a result of being a passage between the Aegean and Black Seas, and heavy industrialization. Regarding the Aegean Sea, the most polluted sediments were located along the Alea coast and Gökçeada. These were suspected to be due to the shipping industry. The measured concentrations of total pHs in the aquatic organisms in Turkey ranged between 4 and 55,000 nanogram per gram. Total pH levels in mullet from the Black Sea reached high concentrations, suggesting substantial pH bioaccumulation in fish. Similarly, mussels in the Istanbul Strait also had high concentrations of pHs. pH sources. In general, pyrogenic pHs were more prevalent than petrogenic pHs. In the Marmara and Aegean Seas, industrial combustion and vehicular emissions from marine traffic were the most common type of pyrogenic sources. Additionally, pHs coming from the coal combustion for household heatings were reported in İzmit Bay, Ambarlı Port, Ölüdeniz Lagoon, İznik Lake, Istanbul, İkizcetepeler Dam Lake, and Batman River. pHs originating from biomass burning, however, were only reported from İkizcetepeler Dam Lake and Erdemit Bay. Cancer and ecological risks. Cancer risks associated with pH were estimated through the calculation of incremental lifetime cancer risk values. The incremental lifetime cancer risk values represent the potential risk of developing cancer over a lifetime exposure to pHs through ingestion or dermal absorption of contaminated water, sediments, or aquatic organisms. Accordingly, the estimated cancer risk levels of pHs from sediments and water bodies range from very low to low, while those from aquatic organisms range from low to moderate. Regarding the assessment of the potential impacts of pHs on aquatic ecosystems, we use the risk quotient approach. Risk quotient approach has been used widely for screening assessment of the ecological risk of pHs in surface waters and sediments. This approach employs threshold quality values to estimate the negative ecological effects of pH contamination. The potential ecological risks associated with pH pollution were moderate to high in some locations. Several sites in Marmara, Aegean, and Mediterranean seas, as well as the Menderes and Kızılırmak rivers, were at high risk levels. Conclusion. The levels of pH pollution in Turkish aquatic media range from low to very high, with significant contamination observed in the Marmara Sea and the Aegean Sea. Moreover, cancer risks from pH exposure were moderate in some locations. Therefore, pH remedial actions and mitigation strategies are recommended, especially for Marmara and Aegean Seas, as well as Kızılırmak and Menderes rivers. Lastly, pH studies conducted for the Mediterranean Sea and the Turkish freshwaters are scarce and need detailed investigations. Thank you for listening.